What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy with Trading Decoded. It is May 6th, 2025, and the market is still open, but we are done trading for the day. Had a fantastic day in the market today. A lot of people needed that after yesterday's chart. Sorry I didn't make a video yesterday. I was late to the morning, got on the mic around 10 o'clock at a doctor's appointment with my son, and when I don't have my normal routine as part of my routine, I don't trade for the day because it doesn't usually end well. Now, with that said, the poll showed it. We had a losing day, which is very, very rare in our community. And on a losing day, more people tended to overtrade, trying to make it not a losing day, only to compound the problem, make it worse. With that said, today was a much needed day as far as the market goes. And I'm going to share with you guys a couple of things that we found. And before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe to these videos, guys. I'm really trying my best to do good videos for you for useful information. Your attention span is not very long. I'm sorry for that, but this requires effort. So if you're trying to learn, jump in our Discord community. We share this stuff all day long. Buy my book if you're interested. All the information's in there. Now let's get into the trades of the day to see what we found. Oh, well, there's nothing there at the moment. How can we fix that? Hold on one second for me here, folks. I am super sorry. Oh, there it is. Now, with that said, call put scenario. We were trending down into the open. Our put scenario, you will not see a put line on my chart. Why? Because when we were talking about it, I wanted to see Qs below 479.59 in order for me to take puts. The problem is that happened right before we started to do our call put scenario. So I started with the call scenario. I said, if we can get through this resistance, I could see us running all the way up to the pre-market high line next. That's the call side. I'm not going to be prepared for calls because we are trending down into the open. So what we'd want to see is a pullback. This is exactly what was said. So now that we're below the put line, I would like to see a pullback to that old support acting as resistance and ADD printing red. Period. Nothing else. If you're going to take the trade, at least have as many options or probabilities in your favor as possible. If ADD is printing green, that's a no trade for me. Okay? So when we came into the open, first of all, this doji told me that buyers and sellers were having an epic battle right then and there. Happened to be at a resistance, which is good. But take a look at ADD, guys. ADD is pushing up, okay? We're not trying to get into that trade aggressively. In fact, we're trying to do the opposite. We're trying to find the right reason and pick a direction if you're going to pick one at all. For me, I told everybody in this trade, I'm not taking these puts. ADD is pushing green. End of story. Same rules that we always have. If we get on the other side of that trend line and we take out resistance, which is the call scenario in this case, I'd be hoping it makes it up to the next resistance, which was the blue line up there. So while this candle was doing its thing, and this one started printing after ADD continuing to print green candles 2 in a row at this point, I told everybody while this was printing, hey, I'm switching over to calls. Actually jumped into those calls just a hair early. I didn't wait for a candle close, but I didn't get a big benefit for doing so. And then I stayed in the trade until we got to my intended profit target. That was only a 19% win, but 19% in just over a minute with the wind at my back, i.e. ADD pushing up aggressively, ended up being a beautiful trade. We had a bunch of people take that trade and a lot of people made money and they were done 2 minutes into the trading day. Okay. Ideally, it would have been awesome to hold on to a little bit more. Had some people play puts here. Puts did not come out of my mouth until this time. Why? Because we were putting in higher lows. ADD was still trying to push up, and that's pretty much it. So puts, we have rules for puts. Okay? Rules are wait for a break of the trend line. If we break the trend line, you want to get below support, and if there's room between that support and the next one, then you take the trade. Hopefully ADD is at that time moving in your favor, which it was. It already started to trend down. People got out of some calls that held through this here because we closed below the trend line. That means calls come off the table if you're not in them. It means you should get out of calls if you are in them. And it means that, hey, if you're interested in puts, there's things that we should be looking for. You know the rules. Lower high was one of them, which we didn't get here. We just were rejecting. We broke the trend line. 2 minutes later, we broke support, hoping to go down to the next support, which I said was likely to be pre-market low. Not only did it get there, it moved lower than that. But again, this was a much, much bigger trade than the first one. Wish I would have taken that, but hey, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I was done for the day, and after that one, a lot of people were done as well. I think a lot of people got caught up with the idea that puts were going to be the play because we were trending down into the open. This is one thing that I try and get people to think about all the time. How many times have you seen a crazy pre-market in one direction or the other only to see the regular hours go in the completely opposite direction? If you have a bias, you have to be cognizant of it. Stay away from it. Don't trade at all if you have a bias. It's not going to work out well for you usually. But coming into 10 o'clock, Sean Chog, if you're out there, I hope to God you got out of those puts. Told everybody, if you're still holding on to puts down here, my stop loss is if we close back above 478.76 on the Qs, stop yourself out of the trade. He didn't stop out here. I don't think he got out here because at 10 o'clock, he was still in the trade. And right here is probably the candle that turned him into a hold and hoper. It happens that quick, guys. He had the opportunity to get out at the same profit he could have had here. He had the opportunity to get out here, but at this point, I think he was sold on puts. I was telling him I'd get out of those calls or those puts before we crossed that line because ADD had already started to rotate to the upside. Everything had started to rotate to the upside. But worst case scenario, look at ADD, guys. So yes, not only did Qs get back above what was support, we needed it to stay as resistance. That should have stopped you out right there. Look at ADD. It never even considered coming back down for quite some time. In fact, it still hasn't. Okay? Just be aware of what is going on out there, guys. Know where you're going to get in, know where you're going to get out. So I hope you didn't hold and hope because that didn't work out for you if you did. More importantly, we put in our first higher low here. Now, rules are higher lows are bad for puts, so we're not looking for puts. Higher lows allow us to draw a trend line. Okay, so we're moving up. ADD's moving up. We're more likely to break resistance because of the higher low and ADD moving up. So if you got into this trade just before this resistance, great. If you got in because we closed above that resistance, same rules apply. That old resistance has to become support, which turned out to be another higher low. But originally the entry was here. We were hoping to get up to this resistance here. It had a little bit of a pullback between entry and target, but ADD kept printing green the whole time. So we did have people take that trade, stay in the trade. Great. We close above that line. It needs to stay support. We're hoping to at least make it here. If it gets through that, we were looking for this resistance right here. Okay, so right around 481.75, which is why this guy's here, this circle. If we get through that, the last one we were looking for was right here. Pre-market resistance on the Qs, 482.20. We get up there, struggle to get through it. Higher lows even still, more likely to break because of it. Looking for the next resistance up. Guys, this happens all day long. Okay. Now, what doesn't happen is theta doesn't stay low, volume doesn't stay high usually, and market participation typically drops throughout the day until the last hour of the day. So it gets more dangerous and more difficult to trade later in the day. And from here, we found some wedges. I was trying to explain to people why you should consider a trade, in this way, that way. Again, same rules as before. We don't want to take a wedge break here because there's no room to make money. If you're going to take one here, make sure ADD's printing green, make sure we clear resistance, make sure there's room to go to the next resistance. It all happened. That's only a 40-cent move, but 40 cents pays us pretty well. And then we just had some news, right? I guess Trump and whoever the new guy is, Clarney, whatever his name is, apparently they had a good meeting. We talked about this earlier. I said if the news comes out as good news, it'll probably push the market up. If it comes out as bad news, it probably will push it down. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that. And almost every reaction is overreaction. So it's not a surprise that we came right back to where we were before that as well. But that doesn't matter because, well, we don't trade after 12 o'clock. Well, at least I don't. With that said, I do want to share one more thing with you guys. Whoops. Which is, I had two people in my group that shared some awesome information with me. One of which is brand new with me, and another one who's been with me for a while. Now, Bob, I appreciate the kind words. Bob says, 2 for 2 today, Jimmy. Thanks a lot, man. On April 21, my account was down 28%. Realized my biggest problem is hesitation on getting into a trade. And once I would hesitate, I would either not get in or get in too late and hold and hope. Huge problem. We've all dealt with that as traders. Since the 21st, I not only made it back to even, but my account is up 98.76%. 6 consecutive wins, which is my biggest streak. I am learning a lot in here and appreciate all you do. See you tomorrow. So this man's making choices based off of what he realized he was doing wrong. Okay, we talk about these things all day long. Now, Tony found me on Reddit, which is a flame box for people like me. Tony had just explained to me that he found me on Reddit, and he said, haha, just started following you 3 days ago, found you on Reddit, and you made me $4,000 in 3 days, so now we're best friends. And what I was funny about that was, the only things I've ever seen about myself on Reddit was how I'm a scammer, furu, just like everybody else who goes on Reddit. When something doesn't work for them, it's got to be the other person's problem. So I'm always happy to hear when people like Tony find me and give me a chance. Guys, I'm not here to sell you snake oil. Well, what we talk about in these videos is exactly what we talk about in the trade room during the day. I am not an overtrader. I don't incentivize overtrading. I don't incentivize gambling. I'm just trying to teach people how to do this the right way using price action. I make it as simple as it can possibly be made. Okay, both in this book here and on the microphone, talking to these people all day, not all day long, only until 12 o'clock. Okay, there's usually about 260 of us in there during the day. We get in, we make our money, we get out. Now, if that's something that's appealing to you, please consider using the free week. Again, jump in the Discord. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to go anywhere before jumping in our server. It's free. As soon as you use that link down below, it will bring you into our welcome page, and your trial starts immediately with no input from you at that point. If you like what you get for that free week, consider becoming a paying member. If you can't afford it, you could still stay. You just won't have access to the stuff that you did as a paying member or as the free tent member. That's all right. I don't leave you guys out in the dark. We talk all the time, and you have access to me 24/7 for the most part. And with that said, I hope you found some valuable information in this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to join our Discord community, as mentioned before, there are links down below. We'd love to have you. And again, check out my book. It's good stuff, I promise you. And with that, hope you all had a great day in the markets. Till tomorrow. I love you guys. See you.